Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD. We closed at 254.84, and as you can see, y'all, we've been kind of like trading in this zone here, as I'd like to say. Support we have around 257.61. We can say that resistance is here around 260.45. So this will be the area that we've been trading in. Now, should we break beyond this 260.45, we could still possibly have trouble 261.05 and breaking that 261.05. Y'all see that ATR trail and stop is right there at a level we have marked around the 262.36. Now breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble again 263.62 and breaking that 264.80, breaking the 264.80, 265.77. And if we should break that, we can continue making new highs for AMD. Now back to the downside under this level of 259.59, we could very well come back to again this 257.61. So we could also again look at it on a smaller scale. Why? Because price gathered here in this area here, so that 258.07 could also be a support area before getting, coming to this 257.61. So again, I marked that level because while price had been gathering in this area here. So under this level of 258.07, 257.61, should we break that 257.61, we could possibly have trouble again 256.23 area and breaking that 255.55. Now breaking that 255.55 area, y'all see here at the 254.80, breaking that 254.80, 253.94, breaking the 253.94, 251.90. And if we should break that 251.90 today for AMD, 249.42 could be a support area for us. And however, breaking that level, we could very well come back to the 243.91, and y'all see there's a few space in between that, so we could very well get stopped out in any of those areas. So if AMD is something that you trade today, I say it often, y'all, trade carefully. Why? Because in this market anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So we are looking at Meta. We closed at 666.47, and it too is trading in this little gathering spot here. We're down in an area that we have a lot of lines here, right? But again, I look at support and resistance on a kind of like a micro level. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. So it looks as if Meta support is around the 675.90 area. We can say resistance is here around the 678.70. So that will be the zone that we're trading in as of right now. Should we break back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble to 679.85, again at 680.96, which kind of takes us to a gap fill area because we came down so much that there is a gap to the upside that need to be filled. So breaking that 680.96 area, we could very well have trouble around the 682.96, breaking the 682.96. That is where our ATR trail and stop is, in my opinion. That could be a strong area of resistance. Again, not financial advice. However, breaking this level, we could very well come back to 683.96 and breaking that 685.28. Should we break that level for Meta, 688.16, keep in mind we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area. However, breaking this 688.16, we could have trouble again around the 690.80 area. Keep in mind, again, we could very well get stopped out in this area here. So breaking that 690.80 for Meta today, we could possibly have trouble again 692.34, 693.36, 694.21, 695.25, 696.81, and 698.27. Those are possible areas of resistance for Meta. Again, not financial advice. Now, should we break under this level here of 675.90, we could very well come back to 673.45. You see, we were here. Yes, 673.45, and should we break that level, the next level of support 671.64, breaking that level 669.41, and should we break that 667.38, breaking that level 665.79, which is this area here. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Now breaking this 665.79, we could very well come back to 662.82, 659.89, and 657.64. So those are possible areas of support and resistance for Meta. Again, not financial advice. I said so often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we are looking at NVIDIA. We closed at 202.89. And it seems as if we have kind of found some support in this area, 206.87. We can use that ATR trail and stop as a resistance area, 207.80, or we can go ahead and mark this on a smaller scale, which is here. Why? Because price held us in this area and back in this area here. So we're going to say right here it's 207.37, and then that 207.80, breaking the 207.80 for NVIDIA, possibly 209.16, breaking that 209.16, possibly have trouble again, 210.91. Should we break that level for NVIDIA, possibly have trouble again, 212.04. If we break that 212.04, we could very well continue making new highs for NVIDIA. Now, let's look to the downside. Say we break back under the 206.87, we could very well come back to 205.91. We see that 20 EMA is in there right before that, so we could very well get stopped out here or at this level here of 205.91. Should we break that level, that 200, that 20, no, that is the 50, please forgive me, that 50 EMA is right there at the 205 area, 205.54. I'm going to mark this 205.38 here because of this area here. So let's go back for NVIDIA back to the downside. Under the 205.91, I have 205.38. Breaking that 205.38, we're just marking levels right here, somewhere around the 204.56 area, or let's say here, under that, we're going to say the 204.38. I'm going to remove that 204.56 and say the 204.38 area because price kind of like kept us here, 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 and here. So yes, again, we're going to go back 205.38, 204.38, breaking that for NVIDIA today, 203.49. Should we break that today, 201.95, and breaking that brings us back to the 201 area, which could be a support area. That is our 200 EMA as of right now. Breaking that brings us back to around 199.95, and should we break that, 198.03 could be a support area. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area, anywhere in this area, anywhere in this area for NVIDIA. So again, if NVIDIA is something that you trade, I said often, y'all, trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. So let's go look at the SPY today just to see where we are. We closed at 679.83, and you see we bounced off of this area. I'm going to mark this. Why? Because something held us up in this area here, right? We bounce from there only to go sideways or create that gathering spot, as I like to say, or the consolidation area, right? So where are the trouble places? That ATR trail and stop is really close to this level here of 686.51. So we're going to gap up today for the SPY. Again, not financial advice. Trade carefully, right? So where are the trouble places for the SPY? If we get back above the 686.47, we could possibly have trouble 687.23. And should we break that level for the SPY today, we could possibly have trouble again, 688.15, and breaking that 689.02, and breaking that 689.45. If we break that 689.45, we could very well make new highs. Let's say that, right? So back to the downside, say we break under the 684.88, which was an area of resistance. It is now our support area. That 684.88, breaking that brings us back to around the 684.22. And why? Because price held us in this area here, 684.22 area, somewhere around there. If we break that, we can use that 200 EMA, which is at the 684.05. If we break that, 683.75. So there's a few layers of support here for the SPY. However, breaking this area of 683.75, y'all see that ATR trail and stop is forming at that 683.16, which is not far from an area that we have marked here at 682.96. Breaking that 682.96, we could very well come back to the 682.12. Breaking that level, we can come back to around the 681.35. Breaking that 681.35 for the SPY today, 679.95. And if we break that 679.95, we could very well come back to the 678.47. Breaking that 678.47 area, we could very well come back to 676.68, and again here at 675.65. So if you're trading the SPY today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. I said often, y'all, not financial advice. Mark your levels. Once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out so that we can live to trade another day. So we are now looking at Tesla. And I said so often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So we closed at 440.10, which is here at this 440 area that has been strong support or strong resistance for Tesla. What's interesting is coming off of this 461.51 high on yesterday down to this low of 439.60. 439.61. Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So our support area again was this 440.41 area. Looks like we bounced from there only to come back down. We tried to go sideways a little bit, go up just a little bit, right? So Tesla is technically trading in this zone here of 441.28 and resistance around this 447.29 area. So that will be the area that Tesla is trading in now. So where are the trouble places? We will need to get back above that 447.06. Y'all see we could possibly have trouble here at the 448.29. That is where our ATR trail and stop is, and a level that we have marked. I love to see that, right? So breaking that 448.29 area, 448.87, 449.31, 449.88. We can also use that 200 EMA as of now, 450.40, breaking that level, 451.60, 452.08, 452.65, breaking that 453.59, and breaking that for Tesla 454.30. Should we break that area of 454.30, 455.02 could be a rejection area for us. And if we should break that, 456.01, 456.93, 458.24, 459.07. So those are possible areas of resistance for Tesla as of right now. I'm going to see if I can make this a little bit. There we are. So where the trouble places back to the downside. Let's say we break under this 445.02. We could possibly find support again, 444.35. Again here at 443.78, 443.13. 442.29, which puts us back in this area here. However, breaking that, we could very well come back to around the 441.28. Breaking that level brings us back to this 440.41 area, which is kind of where close to where we closed, on yesterday. So breaking this 440.41, in my opinion, is a strong area of support for Tesla. We could very well come back to the 439.50 area, which is our 20 EMA on the daily chart. So that's interesting that we've come down and bounced from there, right? So are we going to go back to the upside, or are we going to break through this, get rejected here at this 448 area and come back to the downside and break through that? That's something to be mindful of. Again, not financial advice. So breaking this 439.61 or 439.50 area for Tesla today, 438.42, 437.71, again here at 436.99, 436.19, 434.54, and again here at the 433.50. Breaking that 433.50, the next level, 432.62. So if you are trading Tesla today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice, y'all. So this is what I see when I look at the market. I say it again, y'all. There's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is to try to figure out the strategy that works best for you and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.